Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at something a little different. We have this transcript from a YouTube video. It's from the IELTS Advantage channel. The video is called IELTS Speaking, Perfect Pronunciation, and Fluency. Hmm. Hmm.
So you'd think it's all about language learning, right?
You would, yeah. But what's really fascinating, actually, is that hidden in the answers, as the speaker is showing off their English skills, you get this amazing glimpse into their life, their preferences. We're talking food, travel, drinks, cities,
Yeah,
the works.
exactly. So our mission today isn't really about the IELTS test itself. It's about digging into these casual mentions and finding some genuine insights. What makes this person tick? Okay, so let's get into it. Starting with, well, something everyone loves. Food.
Right. And the first thing that really stands out is this clear favorite, Thawar.
Hmm.
The speaker literally says, it will always top my list. Now, we don't know precisely what Thawar is, do we? But that kind of definite statement, it tells you something. It must be deeply satisfying or comforting, maybe. Do you have food like that? Oh, absolutely. Everyone does, I think. It makes you wonder, is it sweet, savory, something from childhood? And then there's this real enthusiasm for Asian cuisines. It just comes across so strongly. Vietnamese pho gets a mention, okay, but then they talk about Korean kimchi. Mind-blowing, taste bud igniting.
Yeah.
You really feel that excitement.
You really can. And it's interesting. It's not just one specific thing. There's this broader appreciation for diverse Asian flavors. And they also mention enjoying Indian food, too. It sort of suggests a really open palate, maybe adventurous even, someone who likes trying lots of different tastes.
And then, switching gears slightly, this preference for cooking at home, that caught my eye. They say they're a decent cook, and sometimes, yeah, their own food is better than restaurant stuff. Makes you think, doesn't it? About wanting control over ingredients, flavor, maybe just connecting with the food you make.
It does. And when they talk about their childhood favorite, kiter, which they explain is this basic Indian porridge, rice, lentils, dal, ghee, basic spices. It just highlights how simple things can be so comforting, tied to your roots, that kind of warm, nostalgic food.
Definitely. And looking forward, they want to try South American foods, specifically Peruvian, having already tried Mexican, Italian, Chinese, Vietnamese, other Asian foods. Wow, it shows this ongoing curiosity, always wanting to explore new tastes. Okay, let's move from food to getting away. Holidays.
Okay, so favorite holiday spot, Bali. And the reasons are pretty specific. It's the tropical climate. They enjoy the heat, the humidity. And for them to call it their most impressive destination, it clearly made a big impact. What do you think draws people to that kind of intense climate?
I guess if you're not used to it, that real warmth and humidity can feel immersive, maybe freeing. And then the dream trip is Peru. The fact that they booked it, it got canceled because of COVID. And it's still on the bucket list. That speaks volumes, doesn't it? It was even part of a bigger trip with Brazil planned originally. So a real pull towards South America.
And back in their home country, India, they recommend Ladakh, calls it heaven on earth.
Yeah.
Even prefers it over Kerala, which, often gets called that too. The description of Ladakh: mountains, snow, rocks, greenery, all diverse.
Yeah.
It just paints this incredible picture. It makes you think about what different landscapes offer, really.
Which leads perfectly into their overall preference. Nature holidays over city holidays, definitely. They find nature grounding,
Yeah.
mentally stabilizing, calming, whereas cities feel, well, energy consuming, crowded. It really points to a personal need for quiet, for that connection with nature. Okay, next up, drinks. Everyday stuff.
So the morning routine starts with water, fair enough. But then the essential drink, masala chai. Basic Indian tea, usually with milk and spices.
Yeah.
Calling it a necessity to start the day really shows its cultural importance, doesn't it? It's more than just a drink.
Absolutely. And there's also this conscious effort, drinking 2-3 liters of water daily points to being health aware.
Right. And when guests come over, the drink offerings are quite revealing, I think. It seems like typical Indian hospitality includes both hot drinks, tea or coffee, and cold ones, soft drinks like Coke, Fanta, Limca, common stuff. And then they add maybe something fancier like lemonade, a little personal touch there. Now let's look at how they actually get around. Maps.
Ah, yes. The phone maps are essential, used all the time. They make life easier for travel, clearly. What I found really interesting, though, was using maps even when walking or running as a way to just wander but not get totally lost. It's like a safety net for exploring spontaneously.
It's a smart approach, actually. And for new cities, there's a bit of a strategy.
Yeah.
Use the map for the overall layout to download offline maps, which is practical, but this now. They allow themselves to get a bit lost within that area. It's a balance. you know.
Hmm.
Direction plus discovery.
And driving. Sounds like they're the designated navigator for their friends. Finds it very easy with Google Maps, feels they have a knack for it. That suggests, well, comfort with tech, good spatial awareness, maybe.
Right, let's shift towards cities now. Living in them, visiting them.
Okay, so the city they'd want to revisit is Bali again. And not just visit, they actually wanted to settle there at one point. The practical side is it's easy to fly to, but there's so much more going on there.
Oh yeah, definitely. The reasons for loving Bali are really layered. Tropical weather, again, a big plus coming from India. The beauty beaches, nature, those rice paddies that clearly hits deep. And importantly, they're vegan. So finding tasty vegan food easily without stress, that's huge. Huge deal, yeah. And then there's the yoga connection. Very strong. First visit was for a yoga retreat. The dream. Holding their own retreats there, maybe even opening a yoga studio and a vegan cafe. It paints this whole picture of a lifestyle that aligns with their passions. And the fact that it's affordable to live and travel there, well, that just seals the deal, doesn't it?
It's fascinating, though, to contrast that with why some people prefer city holidays. They mention the appeal of having lots to do movies, shopping, uses their husband as an example, preferring London for shows and shopping. It just shows how different people want different things from a break, you know?
And the cost factor comes up too.
Yeah.
City holidays are generally seen as more expensive.
Commercial.
Commercialization, right?
Yeah.
That example of pricey three-wheeler rides in London, or even just buying water. It illustrates the point well, makes you think about those trade-offs. Convenience versus cost in cities.
And visiting a city alone or with others seems it depends. Company's good for shared stuff like shows, but solo exploring is better for really soaking it in. It's a nuanced take on how company affects the experience.
Then there's the growth of big cities, attributed to, well, commercialization, better opportunities pulling people in, which in turn pushes up the cost of living. It's a pretty standard cycle we see everywhere.
And the downsides of megacity living are laid out pretty clearly. High cost, feeling cut off from nature, that phrase, concrete jungle, says it all, and potentially more loneliness, maybe less real social connection. These are like real challenges people face.
Looking ahead, the future of big cities.
Mm.
They expect more advancement, more tech. But there's a slight cautious feel,
Mhm.
maybe a loss of human connection, more reliance on robotics. It's speculative, of course, but interesting.
And finally, this really strong preference for raising kids in the countryside, not the city. The countryside is seen as less chaotic. It offers that nature connection. Even something simple like walking on grass is called a form of meditation.
And the perceived advantages for kids growing up there. Potentially calmer, maybe better equipped mentally and emotionally, better resilience compared to city kids who might be more tech savvy, but maybe lack that emotional bandwidth, as they put it. It's a really thought-provoking comparison, how environment shapes us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's pretty amazing how much we learned about one person's world, their preferences, their outlook, all from a video supposedly about language practice. It just shows, doesn't it? Even in everyday chat, there are fascinating insights hiding there.
Absolutely. It really highlights the value of just listening to individual choices, how they reflect deeper values, priorities,
Yeah.
a favorite food, a dream trip where you want to live. These small details, they paint a much bigger picture of a person.
Exactly. And on that note, here's something for you, the listener, to think about. How do your own preferences, food, travel, surroundings, shape your view of the world and where you'd ideally want to be? What are the reasons behind those choices? Definitely something to mull over long after we're done here.